Hello, I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Tim Spiers. Tim, Southampton 3, Wolves 1. They were looking for a response after Wembley, and it looked like a bit of a hangover, to be honest.
It did, although it did. I think that's an easy way to say it.
Well, after 90 seconds it was.
However, it was a repeat of Burnley away, the last away game.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of a growing trend, really, in terms of away performances. You look at the last 5, lost at Huddersfield, lost at Burnley, drew at Bournemouth, which is okay, it was an okay result, and obviously drew at Chelsea, but this had similar hallmarks to the Burnley game. You cannot start a game like that. You cannot start any game like that. For 2 away games in the league in a row, they've fallen asleep within 90 seconds. All 3 goals today are
can be avoided.
Really poor defensively, and they've given them to Southampton. And it was the worst defensive performance I think we've seen under Nuno. I think 3-1. In a weird way, sort of flattered.
Yeah, agreed.
Patricia's made a good save. They missed another couple of good chances. Threw on goal a couple of times. Wolves had 70% possession and didn't do a fat lot with it, particularly in the second half. And that 3rd goal, it was game over.
Yeah.
The 2nd goal killed them as well, coming so close after their equaliser. And they just weren't at it today, and they got exactly what they deserved.
So you say it's not a cup hangover, or you say it's easy to say that. So what is it then? Because is it against these? You've tweeted about the record against the bottom 6 clubs this season, and we say, we'll ask the question and say, no, it's not that. Well, it must be something to do with that. It must be something to do with that. And Nuno is not complacent at all. He literally takes every single game by game, as he says, and I believe him. But that doesn't mean to say that the players are, because there's something wrong there, isn't there?
There is something wrong there. They struggle to break down teams who are happy to sit in, as Southampton were, particularly after that 2nd goal. And like I said, they had a lot of the ball, created a few half chances here and there. I thought they looked pretty good going forward in that first half, and just atrocious at the back. And attack was the best form of defence, really. But they didn't have the shooting boots on, missed a few chances, and conspired to deservedly lose 3-1. But some of the things that they were doing at the back, they were playing like strangers at times. They've all made individual mistakes again today. Unlike them, the organisation isn't great either. Cody's keeping Redden onside for the 2nd, and then Adama Traore for the 3rd. I mean, it's woeful defending. I know he's sort of the least defensive-minded player you can find, but come on, he stood there. He's watching play. Shane Long is onside. The rest of the defenders are 2-3 yards ahead of him, but we're not talking a split second here.
Yeah.
And he just stands there. He's asleep, and lo and behold, Long prods it in. Really poor from a defensive point of view. And after that, they capitulated. Patricia's made a good save. Could have been 4 or 5, and they never looked like getting back in the game later on at all.
So how do you turn this around? I mean, obviously Wolves go to Marbella now. I mean, it might as well be Morecambe, to be honest. But do they need this? Do they need a break? Do they need to get away from this bubble and come back rejuvenated? The good news is, of course, is like you said, Newcastle on the Friday have lost. Newcastle beating Leicester, and Everton have lost at Fulham today.
West Ham are losing as we speak.
Watford play Arsenal, on Monday night. So thankfully, it's not disastrous, is it?
No, I know, but I look at it as a missed opportunity because
windy. Sorry,
it is windy.
It is windy.
Got it covered-ish. If they're going to finish 7th, in all likelihood they need to be confirmed in 7th before the last game of the season.
Yeah.
You don't want to get to Liverpool away, obviously, looking to get a result against a team that's in all probability going for the title that day. So they've got an opportunity to do that. If Brighton got thumped 5-0 today, you've got to say they're there for the taking next week. And then Arsenal at home, I think they'll be up for that, no problems, and give Arsenal a really good game.
Yeah.
Watford away is the grudge match, it's a revenge mission, they'll be up for that, no problem again.
And Fulham at home.
And then Fulham at home. So there is an opportunity, right, to win the next 4 games.
It's a missed opportunity today,
which makes this a missed opportunity. It's very disappointing what they're doing against the bottom 6 teams. They struggle to find space in the final third, they struggle to isolate their defenders. Traore was the only one that could really manage that today. By that point it was sort of getting too late. And in hindsight, would he have freshened up the team? I don't know. They were a little bit predictable at times again today as well. But the theme of the afternoon was these horrendous defensive mistakes, which they just couldn't cut out or stop. And I'm not sure what you attribute that to, really. I'm not sure that's necessarily down to a hangover. maybe we're just deep into the season now, and there's some tired legs and tired minds out there, because I'm not sure what else you can attribute that to.
How do you change it though? Do you change it? I mean, he's kept faith with those 10 outfield players today. You go into a big game next week. Is it time to change it? Because to me, looking at the pitch, there's not too many players putting a hand up going, I should be in that team. Maybe Ruben Vinagre, who didn't feature today, but there's not too many that you would probably swap in, would you?
But equally, their best two players still, and for decent chunks of the game today, were Jimenez and Jota, who looked lively in that first half. They tailed off a little bit after the break, but you don't want to drop either.
No, absolutely
they've
not.
Scored 8 of Wolves' last 10 goals between them, so
never disappointing.
So your likely ones would be Costa Caballero up front, but that's not going to happen, is it? Because Jimenez and Jota are playing so well. Yes, Neves, I agree, was poor again today. You could look at Bennett coming in. I'd say he'd be likely contenders to come in next week, and Vinagre will be another one. But we're not talking big changes here.
No.
So he's got some work to do on the training ground this week, because what Wolves cannot do, and I really, really, really hope they do not do,
fizzle out,
is peter out, because it's been a special season. And it needs the finish that it deserves, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really does. You don't want it to peter out. You want them to finish 7th. Maybe that brings Europe, maybe it doesn't. But you don't want to. You don't want to lose 2 or 3 out of these next 4 or 5 and slip down the table to 10th or 11th. It would just be a disappointing end to a remarkable season overall.
A lot of fans saying they're not really bothered about European football at this moment in time or finishing 7th. They just want to finish the season positively, and that's probably the most important thing, isn't it?
I'd say so. Going into a big summer as well, and a lot of these players will be making Nuno's mind up as to whether they're in his first team next year, because if Wolves are going to take that big leap and move on a level again, then there's a lot of improvement to do. I think we've seen that, particularly with their record against the lower teams. It's an issue they've got to resolve next year, and whether that's via a change in tactics or personnel is Nuno's big dilemma for the summer, really, because he's got to sort it out.
And psychology as well. We all came to the season, they were the underdogs, they had all these big wins, and it's great because they're not fancied. Now there's an expectation there, and that's a completely different psyche altogether.
And there's an expectation from other clubs as to what you're going to get from Wolves, and it will be so much harder to replicate what they've done this season, let alone move up a level. To replicate what they've done and be in and around 7th, 8th next year will be tougher, undoubtedly, because teams will see them coming now. Not just the bottom teams who've got an obvious formula for how to play against them, because it's tried and tested.
Absolutely,
but also the big teams, they'll see Wolves coming as well. So there's work to do in the summer. However, yes, it's such a shame that it's a bit kind of doom and gloom at the moment, because a week and a half ago they were beating Man United 2-1 with a phenomenal comeback. So they're not massively out of form, and they were 2-0 up at Wembley with 10 minutes to go. Do you know what I mean? So it's fine margins here, but I am really disappointed with what I've seen today, particularly from a defensive point of view. It's just not like Wolves. And you can say that about the Watford game last week. They don't blow leads, and they don't make these kind of incompetent errors at the back, which is what we've seen today. So maybe a week away is just what they need.
Let's get on this place.
To Morecambe.
Southampton 3, Wolves 1. For all the post-match reaction, make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.